My parents kicked me out at 18 and said, "Be grateful we fed you," so I fed them something they couldn't swallow. The morning of my 18th birthday, my dad handed me a garbage bag and told me I had 2 hours to pack my stuff and leave. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because turning 18 meant their legal obligation was over. My mom stood in the kitchen doorway with her arms crossed while my younger brother Kyle watched from the stairs. When I asked where I was supposed to go, my dad said that wasn't their problem anymore. I'd had 18 years of free food and shelter. I should be grateful they fed me that long. My mom added that plenty of kids had it worse, and I was lucky they'd followed through on their legal responsibilities when other parents abandoned their children. Kyle looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything. He was 15 and smart enough to know that keeping quiet meant staying in their good graces for 3 more years. I packed what I could fit in that garbage bag in my backpack. Clothes, my laptop, some photos. I left behind my bed, my desk, everything I'd accumulated growing up. When I walked past the living room, my parents were already rearranging my bedroom furniture on their phones, planning to turn it into my dad's home office. I slept in my car that first night in a grocery store parking lot. Then I stayed with my friend Marcus for a week until his parents said I needed to find somewhere else. I bounced between couches for 2 months while working double shifts at a sandwich shop, saving every dollar I could for a security deposit on a room somewhere. My parents changed their number after I left, blocked me on social media, and told extended family that I'd chosen to move out because I was ungrateful and wanted independence. My aunt Rita was the only one who reached out. She let me stay in her garage apartment for cheap rent and didn't ask too many questions about why my parents had cut me off. She had her own problems with my dad, her older brother, and understood that some families were just broken in ways that couldn't be fixed. I worked 3 jobs that first year: sandwich shop in the mornings, retail in the afternoons, and night shifts doing data entry remotely. I slept maybe 4 hours a night and lived on ramen and whatever expired food the sandwich shop let me take home. But I saved money, enrolled in community college with financial aid, and kept my head down. Kyle texted me once from a friend's phone to say he was sorry, but he couldn't talk to me because it would make things harder for him at home. I understood. 5 years went by. I transferred to a state university, graduated with a degree in accounting, and got hired at a mid-sized firm. Nothing fancy, but stable income and benefits. I moved into a decent apartment, paid off my car, started building a life that didn't include the people who'd thrown me away the moment I became inconvenient. Then last month I got a call from Kyle. He was 20 now, had just moved out for college, and wanted to reconnect. We met for coffee, and he told me what had been happening at home. Turned out my parents had been running a small business doing bookkeeping for local companies. Nothing huge, but steady income that supplemented my dad's regular job. Kyle said they'd been struggling lately. Some clients had left, money was tight, and they were talking about possibly losing the house. He felt guilty for staying quiet when they kicked me out and wanted to make things right now that he was free. I asked him specific questions about their business, client names, how they handled invoicing, their tax filing procedures. Kyle answered without really understanding why I was asking. See, my job for the past 2 years had been investigating financial fraud for small businesses, and based on what Kyle was describing, my parents had been doing some very illegal things with their clients' money, mixing personal and business accounts, underreporting income, writing off personal expenses as business costs. I spent 3 weeks quietly gathering information, public records, state business filings, cross-referencing client names Kyle had mentioned. Then I submitted an anonymous report to the IRS with detailed documentation of their fraudulent activity. The audit started 4 weeks ago. My parents had no idea it was coming. They certainly had no idea their own child, the one they'd thrown away with a garbage bag and a lecture about gratitude, was the reason federal investigators were now crawling through every transaction they'd made in the past 7 years. Kyle called me yesterday in a panic. Our parents had just been hit with massive fines, potential criminal charges, and several clients were suing them for financial mismanagement. My dad was facing possible jail time. They'd lost everything trying to fight it legally, and their house was going into foreclosure. I asked Kyle if they'd mentioned me at all. He said no, they had no idea I was involved. They just kept saying they couldn't understand how this happened or who would do this to them. But that's when things took a turn I never expected. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.